Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the Managing Director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, we're discussing whether or not Asia in general is less accessible to Western expats. And I'm going to go ahead and put this on screen. I'm not even going to quote on this. I'm just going to read the headlines, kind of the byline. But this is actually not from a publication here in Thailand. I'll get to Thailand here in a minute. This is actually from the Economic Times, Chandigarh, Saturday, 15 January 2022. That's the Economic Times, Chandigarh. And it's in the Pure Politics section. The article is titled, India granted fewer visas to foreign nationals in 2021, gave only 40,000 e-visas and 445,000 regular visas last year. We'll go ahead and make sure that gets on screen so folks can see that. But again, I'm not going to get too deep into this because the thrust of this channel is not really India, but we're all aware Thailand has had, the immigration system has been far less than optimal since March of 2020 as a result of the invocation of the emergency decree here in Thailand. And we've also, I've done some updates where I felt like I could provide insight, into other jurisdictions, even though, I only dipping my toe in, so to speak. Places like Malaysia, Cambodia, Vietnam, even Laos, Myanmar too, where there was sort of an announcement or a change that I thought, folks might need to be aware of, especially as it touched on Thailand. We talked about this, and yeah, just across the board, I think immigration into Asia has gotten far more difficult in the past couple of years. And now the question becomes, will this remain? As we begin to put this situation behind us, will we see a lot of these policies become kind of sticky, so to speak, and it become, prior to March 2020, it was pretty darn easy for a lot of folks holding a Western passport, the Anglosphere, the West, whatever you want to call it, to basically just get on a plane and come on out to Asia in a lot of different ways. And since then, we've definitely seen a ton of changes to this overall paradigm. And, I kind of wonder if it's going to get easier. My general sense of dealing with U.S. immigration, Thai immigration, any immigration system, over time it does not get easier. That's sort of the general theme. Now, you do have times where protocols will be put in place that'll change things and in a way make things sort of generally harder or more difficult. And then that may be rescinded, like what we're hoping to see sooner rather than later here in Thailand with possibly, a rescission of the emergency decree in 2020, where we can kind of get back to normal. Again, all that remains to be seen. But yes, I have seen situations, especially in U.S. immigration, where something will pop up, a policy will come up that'll kind of radically make things more difficult. It'll fundamentally change the process. And then they'll kind of realize, policymakers will kind of realize this isn't working or this isn't how we want this to work, and they'll just rescind it. And then things will kind of revert to the mean, if you will. But over time, the general trend is immigration gets more difficult. That's been what I've learned in roughly 15 years of dealing with this. So my only point with respect to this video is, well, in the short term, I think it probably will get a lot easier for Westerners to get into Asia. At the same time, this part of an overarching trend is certain aspects of this may not change. It may be little things, relatively little things, but overall, yeah, maybe things will get more difficult for Western passport holders trying to access Asia in the future.